I'm ready.
This is the Uncensored Man Radio Show. This show contains adult language and content. Listener discretion is advised.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
It is
How's that for an intro?
July 24th, 2025. That's a good, I like the anime music, but it is what it is.
Welcome to the Toxic Man Show.
There used to be a man show. Jimmy Kimmel used to host it, along with the other guy who was way funnier. I never thought Jimmy Kimmel was funny.
Jimmy Kimmel's not a man.
Do you remember the man show, though? It used to be just low IQ beer and just like big titted chicks.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I remember Jimmy Kimmel when I was a kid, and back then I thought he was funny. This year I think he's fucking gay.
Yeah, I mean, he's been that way for a while, but yeah, there already was a man show. Maybe not a toxic man show.
If you just go back to that shit, he's funny as fuck.
There's an article in the New York Times written by a woman complaining about men, but I don't want to read it because it's so just the writing's so trash. But it's called The Trouble with Wanting Men. Women are so fed up with dating men that the phenomenon even has a name: heterofatalism. So what do we do with our desire? So I'm going to probably ask the AI to summarize this because I don't think I could read. Oh my gosh, I don't think I could read this. They're just in the major cities, the women are now recognizing that the men are not dating anymore. And they're angry about that. But they're angry about that not in a way that's productive. They're angry about it in a way that's like they're entitled to date like Chad finance bros just by virtue of the fact they were born on planet Earth. That's what they're all entitled to, is a 6'2" finance bro. And they're finding out that, the finance bro will take them out. He just will not deal with them for longer than a 2 to 3 week period. And they're all upset about that. But anyway, yeah. So how does that feed into everything that's going on social media today? They're still talking about that fucking T app.
They are.
The T app.
Yeah. Ever since we talked about it, I've been hearing about it every day now.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, it's an app that girls specifically, you can't get it if you're a man, download on your phone. And you can put pictures of guys that you've dated and basically share gossip about them.
Yeah.
Ostensibly, it was designed to allow women to have a so-called safe, I love when they say safe place, a so-called safe place where they could complain or warn other women about men who are abusive, even physically abusive. But obviously it's rapidly transformed into just entertainment and gossip. Shocking that it would do that. But it's the most viral app on the App Store. Like, I think millions of people have downloaded it. There's a huge waiting list to actually get access inside of it. And the developers are like mega millionaires overnight. Such a good idea. I can't believe that I didn't think of something like that. But that's what it is. But what I was saying yesterday, and how it ties in with this chick's article in the New York Times, is that they all want to complain about men not dating anymore, but yet they have shit like this that makes it even more unworth it than it already was. Because now you have to worry about like, oh man, if I go on a date with this chick in New York City, she's going to just fucking create a profile for me on this app and say bad things about me. And it's like, why would I even bother with that?
Wow.
It adds another thing that just drives men away, basically, I think.
Damn, bro.
What do you mean, damn? What do you think about you think I'm right? Wrong?
No, I think you're right. I mean, fucking A. That's just crazy. I'm digesting it. I'm processing it. It's crazy to me. It's just like I mean, women are they're like the most dangerous fucking land shark on the planet, right? Like they don't like even when you're unsuspecting, they're like the devil, right? They're just working in the background like as your enemy. A lot of them. Like this is just further proof. Like men don't do that. Why did they start the app first? Why didn't we start something like that first? You know, like
Well,
women.
men didn't start an app like that because men are not collaborative in the same way that women are when it comes to sexual selection. Women have this kind of innate need to pre-screen men for safety reasons. And so you could argue, even as retarded as evolutionary psychology is, mostly it is nonsense. You could argue that a ubiquitous feature of being a female human on planet Earth was that you were just weaker than men for the entire duration of human history. And so, yeah, to the extent that women ever even had mate selection choices, I guess it's a roundabout way of saying they're more gossipy than we are. Because, for example, a lot of men are like banging dudes' wives and stuff, and they don't say anything. They'll do it for like years and years, and no one will ever find out. And women are better at hiding their cheating, I think, than men are. So the husbands aren't necessarily even looking for it in most cases. So it's not natural for men to do that kind of thing in the same way that women do that kind of thing, but it's problematic. I don't know that this app is going to survive. I think probably what'll end up happening is they'll remove it from the App Store, or it'll have such intense restrictions on who can post there and what you can say that it'll effectively become not an entertainment platform for chicks. But right now it's a free for all. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen. But I also, there's a lot of talk like guys are going to sue girls who say, oh, this guy went on a date with him. He pumped and dumped me and, all that other shit that they consented to. So it's not even really about abuse. It's just about like women that are butthurt, right?
Right.
Or maybe even fake stories because nothing is verifiable. So how do you even know it's true? So this is going to spawn, is going to spawn and already has spawned lawsuits about it. And I think ultimately that'll be what happens. What I don't know, maybe they won't delete it. What I do know with 100% certainty is whatever the male equivalent is, it will not be allowed to remain.
Well, of course not.
Whatever the male version is, they won't allow unless it ends up having hardly any participation, which could happen.
Well, that's when we'll start having problems with this type of app. When the men start doing it, then it'll become a problem.
Well, but I still don't think they'll delete the women's version because they'll just say, "Oh, well, it's to protect women" and bullshit like that. And if anything, they'll just limit its usefulness. But there's so few men dating anymore that this is just really a form of self-sabotage.
Wow. Yeah, this is one more stake in their coffin. Men are just going to they're going to need to learn to avoid toxic women for sure.
Well, it's a stake in the coffin of the women that want to date men. A lot of women just don't. A lot of women are fine being alone, but it's not right for it to become just this gossip thing that people, can get rumors on the local chads in their town. That's what I was saying the other day. Like, if I wasn't on that app, I don't know if I am or not. I don't think I probably would be. I would be like deeply ashamed of myself if I still dated American women because that just means my game is really shit.
Man, damn.
So,
well, yeah, I was talking to this gal the other day, and actually just yesterday after we had the show, and I mean, believe it or not, I found out like my ex brother-in-law is on that fucking app. On the list. I was like, damn. I was like, oh shit, what? Wait a minute.
Ex brother-in-law though.
Yeah, I'm like, you
ex
do
brother-in-law.
know what this app is, huh? Like you already know what this fucking app is, and you've already been on it. Jeez.
There's a lot of people on it. The thing is, once the male version goes up, and there's going to be several, that's going to be bad. That's going to be bad. There's going to be a lot of broken marriages and stuff.
Oh, it's going to be fucking brutal, man.
That's the thing is that the male version there'll be less participation overall, but the things that get posted there will be way more damaging, I think, than what's on the female version of the app, just because men, it takes a lot of effort for men to go and do that and to stir up problems in their own life. Like a lot of women will post shit on an app like the T app because number one, they're bad at thinking of long term consequences. You know, like the women that post on there are the women that date the guys with mugshots. So they're stupid already. But they also fail, and because they're stupid, they fail to appropriately assess long term risk, like to themselves, like legally.
Mm.
So yeah, that's the type of women posting on it. But the type of men that post on the other app will just be like deeply destroyed husbands or or you know, like the scorned side dude or whatever. It's gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be really bad.
Or just the crazy psycho chicks and all the crazy things they do, just I can just hear it now.
Well, that is true too. So this is the type of tool that narcissistic women would use. Narcissistic and psychopathic women trying to get revenge on their former sexual partners. That's another huge problem. It'll be used by men like that too, I'm sure. But yeah, so we're gonna see where things end up. But clearly, this is another.
It's just
I don't
another
know
thing
what's
for
going to
guys
reverse
to be
the. I don't know
watching
what's
out
going to reverse the low birth rates anymore because it's like men and
I don't
women
know,
just
but
really
it's
hate
something
each
that
other.
guys need to watch out for. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's probably, for the most part, it's probably not a big deal, as it's supposed to be, what, confidential?
It isn't though. It's a
It's
big deal if you get put on there, and if you are like, for example, if your employer does social media background checks and stuff. That's the other thing is this will end up affecting people's employment prospects. There are
talk
lots of
about like
there
getting
are
on a
lots of
sex
employees that
offender list, basically. It's probably no different than that, you know?
the only difference is the sex offender lists are people who've been convicted and tried and
You
with
don't
due
even need a conviction
process.
anymore. All you need is some dumb bitch to say you did something, and then every fucking other dumb bitch believes it.
That's my that's the thing that's it. That's exactly my point. So there will be lots of reputations destroyed by this, lots of relationships, I'm sure. There's a bunch of TikTok videos of dudes showing their chicks like discovering them on that app, and it's just like meltdown city. I don't think that kind of thing's funny. I don't think adultery, especially, is funny or acceptable.
I don't know. I think
But
this is a pretty fucking radical movement. This is like unnecessary bullshit, honestly, if you ask me. But we live in the day and age of the internet and social media, and everything's just getting worse. I don't think this is good. It's not good.
yeah, did you see that new South Park episode?
No, no.
I didn't yet, but I want to.
What's it about?
It just is making fun of Trump and like Epstein shit,
Oh my God.
which is funny. Finally, they're getting political again in a funny way.
In a funny way.
Yeah, I'm sure it's hilarious. I'm sure it's going to super offend the MAGA, if there's even any MAGA people still around at this point.
It went a little quiet.
Well, with the whole Epstein thing, everybody's pissed off. I'm looking at 4chan right now. It's crazy how often I go to 4chan for news, and you just read shit that's so funny. Man, that Idaho killer dude who killed those 3 girls and that guy, Brian Koberger,
I didn't hear about it.
the Idaho 4, you've heard of that.
Maybe.
It was from a long time ago. I think he pled guilty. He said a quote that they captured. If you hadn't sneaked into their room like a pedo, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass. Oh, never mind. That's the victim in statements. Never mind. So I guess he's getting ready for sentencing. That was a bad case. You talk about incel shit, man. I don't like that men and women are like hate each other. I don't like that. It's a bad atmosphere.
It's not good.
And how do we fix it? I don't think you can fix it. I think it will just keep getting worse.
Well, shit like this, when we talk like this, I'm sure it stirs the fucking pot. There's probably going to be feminists that listen in and just get fucking riled up. I mean, is that helpful or harmful? I mean, I'd rather just, help men. I mean, I just want to be helpful to men. They got to know there's a lot of things that, unsuspecting innocent men don't know about these toxic women.
I care about just the truth.
Yeah.
So the truth is you have to be careful these days.
Yep.
Women have to be careful these days. Men
Women
have to
got to
be
be
careful.
careful too. Yeah. I mean,
But the help, I don't know. It's hard to help people through a podcast, but I think, well, it is easy to help them,
I mean, I
actually.
get a lot
'Cause
of
some
help from the
people just need a
podcast.
reminder. Some
Yeah,
people just
exactly.
need a reminder. And
Yep.
I guess, so some people just need a reminder, and that's fine if you need a reminder. But yeah, these women are so dangerous today, and they have so much power. Like, they can just accuse you of shit that never has to be proven. And, it can even affect your employment. So it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. It's hard with stuff like this to argue that it's still safe to even do any kind of online dating at all. Like I said, there's no fixing this shithole culture. This culture is done.
This
It
culture
shoots
is
itself
done.
in the foot. It shoots itself in the foot more and more every single day. So I'm not, like I said, I'm done playing in this sandbox. The rest of you have fun with them. I just stay away from them.
Dang. Yeah. I don't know. The world is cooked right now. It's definitely cooking. I mean, there's an asteroid coming at any moment. I think we're headed to the end of the I don't know. I think we're headed for the end times, rather. I really do. But
Well, I don't know if the world is cooked, but America is cooked. American culture is already just dead. So I'm like, I was telling my dad, when my kids are growing up, I'm going to be living in South America or whatever. And he's like, does the typical thing, he's like, it's a big mistake to give up on this country.
really,
Yeah. Well, a lot of boomers feel that way because it's been so good for them their whole life. Even
that was
now,
good
it's
for
good for
them.
them. For a lot of them, it's good. And I'm not one of those people that hates on boomers. I find that so cringe and ridiculous.
Oh, for real.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't buy into that. But I mean, it is funny how some of them just still have internalized a lot of it just shows you that childhood programming stays with you for life. Is that you grow up and you learn about the American dream and all these opportunities that you can have if you only pull yourself up by your bootstraps. These guys will believe that for the rest of their life. And it doesn't matter how easily disprovable that is. They'll hold on to that. And so that's just how people are, though. That's just how people are. But I think for most young men, it's time to seriously consider living elsewhere if you can.
Well, I saw another TikToker today. He was complaining about how their generation just can't get ahead. They're making 3 times what their parents made, but rent they're talking, rent is like $1,800. Like, they can't make it on their own, so they're still living with their parents. Is this
Well,
true?
they're making less than what their parents made adjusted for inflation. The property prices are 10 times what they cost for their parents' generation, and that's not a joke. They're literally, in many cases, 9 to 10 times higher. And add on to that all the taxes, and the cost of living is much higher thanks to inflation. And yeah, it's just, and you add on to that the fact that no women are like, most women in our culture, most men in our culture, so this isn't just women, are just like, don't know how to have normal monogamous healthy relationships. So that just that creates an atmosphere where it's feels like you're a debt slave. And we also, education costs obviously are through the roof. So you're just a debt slave virgin. That's like what this Gen Z is. That's what young Gen Z men are. They're debt slaved virgins.
Yeah,
When you think about how bad they have it, it's actually amazing that
this is what
that society is still
I did a little
held
research
together.
on Grope today. I asked, what are the challenges facing men today? So the breakdown is like the major issues are men's mental health and suicide rates. Men account for a disproportionate number of suicides globally. For example, in the US, Men make up about 75% of suicide deaths, with rates particularly high among middle-aged and young men. Social expectations of stoicism, reluctance to seek help, and stigma around mental health issues contribute. Men are less likely to access therapy or support networks, often due to cultural norms emphasizing self-reliance.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I don't buy that at all. Young men aren't going to therapy because therapy is a fucking waste of time. Most therapists are idiots, and there's no reason to go to therapy if you're going to have an unqualified fool as your therapist. And also, lots of young men can't afford therapy.
Well,
So,
yeah.
I mean, it's, it's not
And if
cheap.
you weren't depressed enough already, you're like, well, I can't even fucking afford it.
And even if you have a therapist that's good, it probably is going to cost a lot. And it's not like a few sessions, like it's something that requires constant maintenance. Like, I think there are benefits to cognitive behavioral therapy and certain therapeutic modalities for specific problems, but men are depressed for legitimate reasons. They're not depressed necessarily because they are thinking wrong or whatever. They have mental illness. I mean, depression is an acceptable response to being a debt slave with no job prospects and basically being a sexless virgin. I mean, I don't think that's an illegitimate response, especially when you consider a lot of the answers online are rather toxic. It's like, just become a looks maxer, just become a pickup artist or whatever. So you learn narcissistic tactics to try to manipulate women. And that's very ego dystonic for young men who were raised with like two healthy parents who had a healthy relationship. It's not like, oh, I can just become a fuck boy. That's not necessarily a transition that a lot of men who are psychologically normal can just make.
What do like that's a pretty big disproportionate amount of suicides, men versus women.
It's always been that way. It's been that way for a very long time.
So it's nothing new.
No, it's nothing new. It's just getting worse, and so that's why people are talking about it. But, it's what do you do about it? More therapy is not going to, I don't think,
Well,
necessarily be the answer, except in certain,
I mean,
cases.
have you been to therapy?
Oh, yeah.
Me
Every
too.
kind you can think of.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I've been to lots of therapists, and it can help. I mean, I don't mean to say nobody should ever go to therapy, but the thing is, what is a therapist today? Like, it's the bar is so low to become one, and what are you working on in therapy is just how you think. Not even necessarily how you think, but how you respond behaviorally to how you think. So a lot of guys are just caught up in their feelings and, oh, I'm depressed, so I need to learn how to change my thinking. But really, you can't really change your I mean, trying to change your thinking is very hard. Changing your behavior is still very hard, but much easier. So, for example,
This is how I think it helps. Just my opinion, because I've been to therapy too. But and you're right. Like, some of the therapy is just BS. Some of it's been very helpful for me. Like Celebrate Recovery, I did that for 5 years. I honestly think I got a lot of benefit from that. Now that's a different modality of therapy. That's like a group type.
that's like addiction stuff.
Yeah, it's like all hurts, habits, and hangups. It doesn't matter. I just went there for depression, whatever. I
Oh,
wasn't struggling with
okay.
addiction anymore. But although I did have some drinking issues in the past, but that's not why I was going at the time. I was just going because I was so fucking depressed, I couldn't get out of my head. But I've also been to therapy too. But I think that one thing that it does do is I'm convinced this is a problem for men, is this whole self-reliance thing. And we're just like so afraid of being embarrassed or let our egos get in the way of like asking for help that we don't, right? We don't, like, we'll take it to the death before we ask for fucking help, right? That's the problem with men, is like we won't let go of our egos for just a minute, or we won't allow ourselves to be embarrassed, You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm going with this? Like,
Yeah, because I hear that all the time. I'm not super convinced about it, but
well,
you're saying that guys don't get help, guys don't go to therapy because
they're
of
embarrassed
pride,
by it.
like they're
Like,
just
that's
too.
the word I'm looking for. Their pride just gets in the way. But then but here's the thing. It's really not even about that, because by the time you get there and you do ask for a little bit of help and you start talking about it, you really realize, like, most of these people aren't there to, like, embarrass you or, make you feel bad about being there. Like, it doesn't even really hurt your pride. In fact, most of the time you start feeling better right away. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I
I
see
felt
what you're
better.
saying. There's a lot of people that would agree with what you said, and there's a lot of people that would explain it in the same way. I actually don't think that that has anything to do with it. The idea that men are too prideful or like it injures their masculinity to ask for help, I think that's nonsense, especially for the younger generations. I think a lot of young men would ask for help if they thought that their problems could be aided by someone else.
Wow.
I mean, there are just, so that's part of it.
I'm just
But
saying,
I
I
don't
guess
think it's
I'm
a
just
pride thing,
speaking
and I
for
think it's a
myself.
cost thing too. So, but regardless of whatever the issue is, the important thing is not I feel bad. That the feelings part, this is the problem. This is where the masculinity comes in. Your feelings are not super important. In fact, they're not important at all. The only thing that matters is in the quiet moments when you're thinking clearly and you're thinking, like, what are my objectives? What is my mission in life? What am I setting out to accomplish? You decide on that when you're of sound mind, and then you go into every day, regardless how you feel, following whatever your routine is to get to wherever you're trying to go. So men shouldn't be taught how to have different feelings or be taught how to express their feelings or whatever the fuck these dumb feminists talk about. They should be taught how to ignore their feelings in a way, which is really just ignoring your thoughts. You don't feel like doing something, well, do it anyway. I mean, that's what men should be taught. That's not necessarily an act of suppression or bottling it up. It's just you're going to be harmed less by your feelings and your thoughts if you don't put as much importance on them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And you try to cultivate a life where you do things even if you don't feel like it. When you're depressed, you don't feel like doing anything. That's why the best treatment for depression is just doing something. It's like, oh, get more exercise or go take a dance class. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that you do something. What matters is
Truth.
that you just do something. So there's a lot. This is where it becomes just a bigger cultural issue. You could talk about this T app and how bad dating is and everything, but what is the real problem? The real problem is young men today, and young women increasingly do not have the ability to form healthy, intimate relationships. And if you go life without intimacy, then you live a life that is, I think, greatly diminished. There are
Yeah.
some people that, particularly like schizoids, who can go through life, they don't need any kind of like romantic partner or someone to lean on. But most men are not like that. Most of us need a woman. Most women need a man. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you need them from the time you're 18 years old until you're 90, okay? But the concept of exclusive intimacy is lost on this generation almost completely. They don't even know how to do it. The default situation for young men and women dating today is to see like multiple people at once. Or if you're not seeing multiple people at once, to just assume that that's what your partner's doing.
That's
So,
crazy.
and that is largely what's happening. I mean, and so I talked to a patient today who his daughter is a very, very beautiful, 30-year-old, and she's a professional. She has a very good job, and she's not dating at all. She doesn't trust men. Okay, there's a lot of men that like that too. They just don't trust women. So how do we solve that? How do we solve that? I mean, I don't think there is a good way to solve it.
I don't know. I think you're onto something.
I don't think there's a good way to solve it. But
No, there's not. It's
they're not going to let the male. They're not going to let the
it's
man's.
something that our entire culture is just completely fucked. It's just
Yeah, I mean, what culture?
yeah. What is our culture?
What culture? None.
It is nothing like what I grew up with. Like all of the cultural norms and the ideals that I grew up with were erased in the last 5 years. Like if they weren't already eroding, like just since COVID, gone, like toast.
Well, what do you mean by cultural norms? Like how men and women interact with each other? Like that?
Just
What are the
like yeah,
expectations? How
like
about
gender
sexual
roles.
script?
A woman, you can't even ask a woman what a fucking woman is. That just is fucking insanity. Like really? Come on.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. That's the woke part of it. But I would say an even deeper problem is like men and women, young men and women, don't really know how to interact with each other on even a basic level. They don't really know even how to communicate. That's why you have all these fucked up situationship things. This whole concept of a situationship.
Right.
It's like, what are the expectations when two people become intimate? Are the expectations 30 years ago? It was just naturally expected that that was an exclusive relationship. And if you were the type of guy who went and smashed multiple women, like you were chastised, you were looked down on, you weren't celebrated, you weren't a hero. That wasn't considered honorable. It was considered dishonorable. It was considered scumbag behavior.
Right.
Male chauvinist behavior was deeply criticized, and rightfully so, because many of those male chauvinists, in fact, were pathological narcissists, and many of them were also psychopaths. They were bad people. Now we have a celebration of that type of man. I mean, even worse, we have a celebration of that type of woman. But worse yet than that is a lot of women have become like chauvinist men, a huge percentage of them. You could even say that's their default way of dealing with men today.
The most Googled man on the planet.
Well, and there's a reason for that.
Who's the most Googled man on the planet? Andrew Tate, right?
Yeah.
And what is he? He's just a womanizer, right?
Well, he's a lot of things. Womanizer's one of them. But I wouldn't say that's all he is. But yes, that's one of them. And womanizing is becoming not only considered acceptable to some men, but the only way to interact with women.
Celebrated.
Right. So that has very serious consequences. Yeah. And I don't think it's going to work out. Well, it isn't working out well. But going back to the whole cultural norms thing, nobody knows what to expect when you're in a relationship with a chick in this culture. What are the expectations of her? What are the expectations of me? There's like there was another meme a few weeks ago, never check your girlfriend's phone or it'll hurt your feelings. And it was like, there's this huge underlying, very deeply nihilistic, cynical, whatever. I don't care what she's doing because whatever she's doing, I'm doing worse. So it's like you're like in these exclusive relationships where you're just behind the scenes trying to fuck each other over as bad as possible, but doing it secretly, but accumulating so much damage to the other person that by the time you find out what they're doing behind your back, you feel like you won't care as much because you've already done worse to them. And so it's a very fucked up, not good way of having sexual, in the male female sense, relations. That's super toxic.
People hurt each other,
They hurt each other, yeah, well, because they don't know what else to do. That's just the default state.
It is a hookup culture. I mean, I have yet to find one woman that I've been with that is just like entirely grounded in the beliefs that I grew up with as a Christian, like sound biblical teaching. Like I'm like grasping for straws here. Like none of them have anything like solid, and they're all just astrology New Age mixed in with Christianity and maybe a little bit of Buddhism. And I mean, there's no solid foundation whatsoever. It's just such a loose knit belief system where anything fucking goes. And it's just like, okay, wow. I mean, to me, that's why we're doomed. Like, if you could find somebody that's rooted and they actually have a solid belief system that they grew up with, maybe there's a chance, but I'm not seeing it. I'm just, and I don't have a ton of experience, but I have enough to see that, you know, even in the church, like, I'm not seeing people that are really grounded.
Grounded
Yeah.
and well, I mean, church doesn't ground people today. American churches are just giant
No.
warehouses run by con men and with Starbucks and Caribou coffee. I mean, they're not real
But you're back.
churches in any historical sense of the term. They're just like public gathering places where they listen to quasi secular music with the words God and Jesus in it, and that's it. Sounds really nice, you know.
Yeah,
The
this
production's
probably where we
really
have
high end.
a little bit different point of view. But I mean, I don't really necessarily agree with the church nowadays. But personally, I still believe in like scripture and like I'm doing a lot of things wrong myself. But like if someone were rooted in scripture and just had
Well,
those
women are never
fundamental
going to be
beliefs.
rooted. Sure,
Yeah.
any other kind of thing like that. That's just not women. I mean, you're going to be hard pressed to find
There's
that type of thing. You can find women that have good morals. You can find women that won't cheat on you. You're not going to find women that intellectualize their religion to the point where they understand the Bible or want to study it in the sense that a lot of like trad cath guys and apologist guys want to do. That's just not what women do. They just aren't like that.
Well, not
Best you can ask for is just a moral one.
What's a moral one? What is that?
A moral one would be one that has good morals. What are good morals? Hold on one sec.
There you go. I mean, where do they come from? I mean, you find one good woman that's like rooted in scripture, she is not going to fucking hoe around. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really agree with that. My lived experience, I think, contradicts that heavily. And I also think statistically, religious people, Christians included, are not less likely to get divorced. They're more likely to get divorced, if anything. They may not be more likely, but they're definitely not significantly less likely. So I don't know. I think a lot of the religious stuff is a scam, especially the American watered down version. Especially with you look at I don't know. I'm very, 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 very deeply cynical about it. But what is a moral woman? A moral woman is a woman that's either so stupid and uneducated that she just you're her best option and that's just it. And she's not smart enough to think of any other option that's better. Or someone super intelligent that actually understands that we live in a society and I need to adhere to these behavioral standards and it's bigger than just me and this family depends on me and, so that's what I got to do. But it's not, I don't think that describes many women. That's why I said dummy or super intellect.
Interesting. I know this gal who's like I thought about her and she's very, very Christian. She doesn't get around like she hasn't been with a man for like ever. But the thing is I wonder if she's just narrowed it down so far where she's never going to meet one. Like it's just I'm getting feedback for some reason.
Yeah. Well, it's a tough world out there. You got any clips?
Any clips?
Yeah, never mind. I just kicking kids out of the house. It's summer. I don't know why kids are in the house during the summer. My mom never let us do that.
I know. Oh, I shouldn't be in the house either. I mean, honestly. I don't know why I'm lethargic. Like I feel lazy and lethargic. Like when you were saying like fuck your feelings, why am I not, why am I not doing anything?
Well, that's the thing. That's the problem with therapy is fuck why you feel that way. Stop wasting time thinking about it. You just write down the things that you need to do and just do them and make a routine. having a routine is like critically important in the social media easy distraction society, because your routine, if you have a routine, you can always fall back on your routine. It's like
See,
that
that's the
old saying. It's like
problem. That's the
you're not
problem.
going
My
to rise
routine
to
is
the occasion.
disrupted because I'm used to getting up every single day and working hard and getting home, and then that's my routine. And now it's ended. Like we have like this seasonal disruption.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make, is you never rise to the occasion. You just fall back on your habits.
Yeah.
So you need to cultivate habits. Who gives a fuck about you? Oh, I'm a little depressed today. I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. That's the path to being a loser and never getting anything accomplished.
Fucking A. You're not wrong.
So you have to cultivate a routine. Write down the things in your life without which you could never be happy, and then write down all the things you need to get those things, and then go after them.
Write that down.
But you can't. It's a little more complicated than that. That's Professor
Not
Bachman's
much, though. That's pretty fucking good.
map to happiness. Yeah, write down all the things that without which you can never be happy. Without which. So, for example, if you like reading books, and if you could never read another book again in your life, would you be happy? And if the answer is no, then okay, you write books down. Traveling, could you be happy if you had to stay in the exact same place for the rest of your life? Okay. Or do you like traveling? Okay, I like traveling international. Okay, so then you write that down. Then what do you need to be able to do that? You need money. Okay, so then how are you going to get money? So you can make a map for yourself of how to live a reasonably happy life. But the key thing is to use it to create a routine. You don't use it to create how do I feel today manual. Like, forget how you feel. You're never going to feel like doing work. Especially today. If you have been one of these doom scrollers for years, then you've rewired your brain to just want to do that, to just get dopamine hits through that. So instead of doing that, you have to force yourself to do something else. You have to force yourself.
Forced.
Right? It's not going to be I feel like doing it. You just have to do it. So that's the way you get ahead. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Fuck the T app.
Write down all the things with which you can never be happy. What do you need to be able to do that? And what are the things you need to do?
Something like that.
Something like that. I like that.
Then you can focus on what's really important. The other toxic thing about a lot of red pill stuff is it's overly focused on ambition. Have ambition. Ambition is not a positive trait, actually, believe it or not. Ambition's actually a very negative trait. That's where you take societal expectations and messages and introject them basically into yourself. That's not like a values-based system where you examine yourself and what's important to yourself. So that's one message I disagree with. Like this idea, just get phenomenally rich. Well, being phenomenally rich will not make you happy. Well, actually, there's lots of studies that show that that's true. Past a certain income threshold, which is quite low, it's in the six figures, your happiness doesn't really increase that much. So it's not true that that's the path to happiness. It's also not true that the path to happiness is smashing a bunch of roasties on Tinder.
No.
In fact, that is far more likely to lead to
that's probably
psychological harm.
Fucking depression.
And that's more likely to lead to psychological harm to both you and all the other people participating.
Yeah.
And not to mention it furthers the degradation of society. So that's not the solution. But even though the red pillars say it is, it's not. The only way you would be satisfied with a lifestyle like that would be if you're actually a pathological, like you have narcissistic personality disorder. That's just really sad. Most men will not be happy from having rosters, so to speak. If you are, you have deep issues, mental issues. So that's not a pathway to happiness, and the same goes for women too. But
isn't that what they call you in the on your TikTok as the narcissistic doctor?
Some people might call me that. I'm not aware that that's a
The Tinder smasher?
common appellation that I don't know that people refer to me like that normally, but that's fine.
There's only a couple comments like that. I just think that's funny.
Score high. Here's the thing: social media and being in front of a camera makes everyone a little bit more of a narcissist after a while.
Well, yeah.
And it makes you be less authentic. When
got a
you're
clip for
in
ya.
front of a camera, you're just less authentic naturally.
I got your clip for you
Which one?
about the tea. I got some tea for you, man. You ready
Okay.
for it?
Sure.
The T app, again, wreaking havoc. My understanding is there is a female version coming out, and it's going to be called Matcha. Super cute name, I know. The men will now be able to post about the women. What I want everyone to understand is you believe you are posting anonymously. Yeah, right now, as it appears to everyone else, it's anonymous. What you need to understand is the defamation cases and the cease and desists are going out. And we do, as attorneys, have an ability to find out who you are. Just because you're posting anonymous doesn't mean it stays anonymous. We can do that through getting IP addresses. And if you all recall, when you opened up the app, you had to take literally the ugliest selfie you've ever taken in your life. You thought mugshots were bad. You will have that photo plus your IP address, plus the fact that it's in your name. And then you would have to prove that you did not post. It's not on me to prove that you did post it. All I need to do is find out who you are. Now, that photo that you took, let's go back to that. That is the photo that I attached to your exhibits for your defamation of character lawsuit. That is the same photo I will keep up on the screen during our trial because, yes, I am that lawyer. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to do it out of the goodness of your heart, it does not to be evil people.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, okay, that's a lawyer grifter. She wants business. Fine. There are going to be a lot of lawsuits, but what a lot of guys don't realize is none of these bitches have money. The chicks posting on the T app are the same chicks hitting you up to pay their rent. Okay? They don't have any money to go after. So functionally, there's no reason really to sue them. There's nothing you're going to get out of it.
Right.
What will change it is if the app itself, the people that run the app itself are held liable, which they absolutely should be. Social media companies should be liable for libelous material that's published on them, or at least this kind of thing, this kind of app should be. You can make an argument that something like Facebook should be as well. But yeah, so that's the thing is, yeah, a lot of lawsuits will go out. People will be sued. People will be humiliated. But a lot of these chicks that lie about men are not, like, they don't have any money anyway. So it's not really a solution.
Yeah, women don't have money.
Oh, there are women that do have money, but the women that have money are not the ones that are likely to be on the app complaining about dudes. There are going to be a few, sure, but not many, I don't think. They're more likely to be the lurkers. So that's another thing we didn't talk about is this will actually make women more hesitant about dating too. Because they're just going to see all the stories of how bad men are, and they're going to conclude that all men are womanizers and abusers, which they already do believe that. There's already a huge percentage of them that believe that. And this is only going to strengthen that narrative. So the net result is just going to be even more isolation and loneliness.
That's not cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's important to, just as individuals, man or woman, to just try to cultivate healthy relationships. And I mean, I'm pretty good about that personally. Like I have people that are not, I've been toxic before and I've been, chosen toxic people to talk to about my problems. But now I have healthy relationships with good feedback. And I force myself to make phone calls weekly to people just to keep current, and I think that's really important to do. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maintaining friendships is very important for sure.
Yeah, and if you cannot get out and socialize, you really need to I need to stay in contact with someone, and like usually several times a week. And if it drops below a couple times a week where I'm not just communicating, it's really easy to get sideways, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. I get that. The male friendship thing is one of the things that guys have to solve too for themselves. That's, requires effort,
It does.
but it's important.
I make a list of the people that I can talk to and that I can call, and then I put it in my favorites on my phone, on an iPhone. I'm pretty sure Androids have it too, but I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yep. And so, like, when you're getting depressed and you're out there on a limb, you don't know who to talk to, you know, I'll forget that I even have friends or family when I'm not feeling right, you know? I mean, it just gets that bad. I've been through a lot of fucking trauma, you know?
Or you just think, or you just get to a point where you just don't want to hear it,
Yeah.
you know?
No, I'll genuinely.
Some family members you just don't want to, because you know it's going to be just
Oh,
like,
yeah. No, I've eliminated, do not add those people to your list. Only add the people to your list that you know you can talk to that aren't going to just be like your dad and talk down to you. You can't have that.
or be
Yeah.
helpful.
You need people that are gonna
Well, my dad is the person I trust more than anyone in the world. And to be honest with
Yeah.
you, a lot of times if he does lecture me, there's a very good chance that I should be lectured. But what I more meant is just it's maintaining male friendships is can be a little bit of a chore, you know, because we're not like women. Women are just naturally they're better at doing that than we are, but we have to do that. And if you because you need male friends more than you need women, actually, I'd say especially when you're younger.
Absolutely.
And like I said today, statistically, your male friendships are more likely to outlast your marriage. Chances are, so it's worth always keeping them around.
Yeah.
You know, but then this leads to see the other thing people do to sabotage their relationships is they get together and all they do is they're together all the time, and that's it, and they cut everybody else out of their life. That's like one of the most disastrous things that you can do is be around your chick all the time, 24/7 every day.
Yeah.
That's really not good for
that'll
you.
destroy you real fast. It'll just.
Yeah, just like all the trad boomer / trad advice about, oh, you just live with a woman and you become best friends and you're with each other every day. Fuck that. This generation is not like that. We have a much different temperament for that. We have a huge need to have time where we're isolated and alone and not have another person breathing down our neck. Like I think everybody's always needed a little bit of that to some extent. Some of us need more than others, of course. But yeah, that's the worst thing you can do is follow the advice of, oh, just have her around all the time. That's fucking, I know whenever people do that, that's like the death knell. That's the death.
Yeah, that's the pathway to destruction. Real quick, you're gonna lose yourself into her, and you're just giving up your life and your time, and it's just a way to get lost real quick. I know I get lost when I do that. Like I don't know what I'm doing.
Well,
I lose part of myself.
Women will make you miserable the more they're around. The more miserable you will make them, the more miserable they will make you. Men and women aren't supposed to be around each other 24/7. That's actually a myth. That's not true. That's never how men were throughout any part of history. We're just not meant to do that. But we do that now because nobody knows how to be normal. Nobody knows how to have their own individual identity and things going on.
How about female friends?
So-
Do you have any female friends or confidants?
Me, no. Why? I don't believe in female friends.
Just asking. I didn't know if you did or not.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. And especially if you're in a relationship, I don't believe men and women can really be friends. It's what it is are just friend zone dudes who are trying to smash their quote unquote friend female. That's all it is.
Or maybe she's been friend zoned and that's why she remains friendly.
Nah, well, women don't usually stick around like that unless they're getting something out of it. Certainly it's possible. There's lots of social psychology research on this. Men and women don't really become friends in the same sense that like men and men become friends or women and women become friends. They become friends in the like you're like a romantic second or third option type of thing.
Interesting. Because I have a few women friends that like I don't talk to them very often, but like if I ever need to talk to someone or like if I don't have someone to talk to, they've always been very helpful. But I'm not looking to get anything out of them like romantically. That's you know what I mean? But maybe they feel that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they feel
So you wouldn't smash any of them?
yeah, I'm not trying to. I mean, I'd probably throw a couple shots in them, but that's about it.
There you go. So that's my whole point. You just proved my point.
But no, I'm not like trying to. I probably wouldn't. I was just kind of being silly, but
No, but that's the point. So it's yeah, I don't really. You need male friends.
Yeah.
You need heterosexual male friends. That's what people need. That's what young men, heterosexual men need.
I'm probably not going to get rid of my female friends though. There's a couple of them that I love dearly. I'm not trying to get anything from them.
Well, that's good, I guess. It's never purely platonic, though.
Yeah, maybe it is more, and maybe I'm overlooking some of that. Maybe it's more so of them trying to get with me than me to get with them, and maybe I just see them as a friend.
Let's call them up and ask them.
Well, should we get them on the phone?
That might be good content for another day.
See, now we're getting somewhere.
But anyway, have we done an hour yet? We should have bumper music so we know when we're at an
We're
hour. That'd be
1
sweet.
hour. Should I play a little music here? We're on the way.
No, it's fine. All right, well, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 a.m.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining the show, and welcome to the Uncensored Man podcast. Have a great day.